in order for me to get any type of divine inspiration, meaning to really know what I'm doing is the right way, then I have to refine myself to be connected to the divine. Now, how do I do it? I have to follow the Torah. I cannot follow 50% of the Torah. I mean, I can. It doesn't mean that that's what I'm supposed to do, and I will definitely not get divine inspiration. Now, divine inspiration is that as my neshama goes up to Shamayim, and it sees everything. Because at night, when my neshama goes to sleep, when I go to sleep, my neshama goes up to Shamayim. And it sees everything and it gets everything. Just that when it comes down to the world, all this information gets forgotten on the way. But the neshama is holding all this information. Now, if I feed the neshama with what it wants, then it will know how to relay it to me. The neshama doesn't care about food, it doesn't care about sleeping, it doesn't care about money, it doesn't care about anything. The neshama cares about Torah and mitzvot. If you give your neshama Torah and mitzvot, then it will start talking to you. Now, there's more components. The more you refine yourself, then your neshama can start expressing itself. Imagine now a class, and there's 40 kids in the class. And there's one kid that is shy, sitting in the corner. Everybody screams and makes a noise, and this shy kid sits in the corner. He will never express himself. Nobody even knows about him. Why? Because the loud ones are making noise. So in my life, there are very loud noises that doesn't allow the neshama to speak. And if I allow my neshama to speak to me, then it starts guiding me. So first of all, I have to feed the neshama. It needs power. So I have to feed it with Torah and mitzvot. There's no negotiation here. A lot of people says, okay, I'll just do this and this and this. Fine. You want to do just this and this and this? It's almost like saying, I'm only going to eat on Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Is that normal? No. You'll be hungry on Monday and on Wednesday. So you can't say, I'm only going to do 50% of the mitzvot. I mean, you can do it. You're not going to get any benefit out of this. I mean, you will, but you're lacking a lot. In order for my neshama to start talking to me, I had to first give it what it needs. More than that, I have to refine myself. I have to refine myself by working on my thoughts, on my midot, on my attributes. I have to do a lot of inner work. I have to add all these acts around me. Doesn't matter if it's right now charity or mikveh, all these things that you purify me. Then I have to do different acts that I will title them as Jewish meditation. You have to do it bodedut. You don't have to be a Breslever to do it bodedut. This is not a Breslev concept, it bodedut. Yaakov Avinu used to do it bodedut.
Was that meditation?
Yeah, but it bodedut is not meditation. It bodedut, it comes from the word bidud hanefesh. Bidud is to isolate, and I isolate my nefesh. No, see, you just said Breslev. I said not Breslev. Yaakov Avinu used to do it bodedut. It's not a Breslev thing. Just it happens to be that Rabbi Nachman said, no, this is a very important thing. And for whatever reason, it's tagged to the Breslevers. But many people do it bodedut, and it's not a Breslever concept. But bodedut means that I'm isolating my soul. Now, all day long, I have a lot of distraction. I have a boss. I have a wife, I have kids, I have a landlord, I have a bank, I have credit cards, I have a lot of distractions. So who am I listening to? I'm listening to my WhatsApp, I'm listening to my emails, I'm listening to my text messages, I'm listening to everybody around me, I don't listen to my soul. So I need to take 5 minutes out of my day, if not half an hour, and I shut everything down. So there's no emails, and there's no text messages, and there's no WhatsApps, and there's no nothing. It's just me. Now if you can do it in your room, you do it in your room. If you need to do it on the beach, do it on the beach. You need to do it in the forest, do it in the forest. Doesn't matter where you do it. You need to shutting down the system. You cannot do it, but you do it with your phone in your hand. Now again, it's not a Breslever thing. Right? You don't have to be not that I have anything against Breslev. I love Breslev. I love Rabbi Nachman. It's not tagged, it's tagged to Breslev. But it bodedut, it's everybody needs to do it. You need to find 5 minutes or 10 minutes or half an hour in the day that you shut your system down. If you know how to do it well, you can do it in your car when you drive to work. You can do it on the subway. You just isolate your nefesh. Your nefesh is your neshama. Suddenly this shy boy starts talking. Now if you do it the right way, and it is not a simple thing, you need to know how to do it, your nefesh starts talking to you. Suddenly your nefesh will start telling you, don't do this, it's a waste of time, do that. Now this is one type of Jewish meditation. There's another type of Jewish meditation that is called Hakata. This is taught by the Rebbe from Piasetzna. And he explains that in our mind, there's a jungle of thoughts. That if I will now be able to explore or expose your thoughts, everybody will be convinced that you're a lunatic. And the reality is that we are a lunatic. If I will analyze my thoughts, the only thing that separates from me and a lunatic is that he does what he thinks and I don't. But the reality is that all day long I have thoughts in my mind, what I would want to say to him, what I would want to do to him, what I would do if this would happen. Really, if you stop to think of your thoughts, you would think you are crazy. And again, the only things that differentiate me and a lunatic is that I just don't do it. How many times you want to curse somebody in the street or you want to say something, just hold yourself. Now you convince yourself that you didn't say anything because it's not appropriate. No, you're just a wuss, so you didn't say that. But the reality is that we have a jungle in our mind. Now this jungle is not even my thoughts. The Rabbi from Piasetzna says he has a whole process of a whole meditation process that you're quietening your thoughts. It's called Hakata. And what happens is that you start quietening all these thoughts that are not your thoughts. These are called machshava zara, a foreign thought. Now what's the result? Then suddenly you clean up all the junk in your mind. So the real thoughts are yours, are your neshama. Then you start hearing your real thoughts. And your real thought is going to tell you, don't shit in that business deal. It's not going to end up so good. You're not going to make money at the end. Don't lie to that person. Don't be mean to this person. You should put more effort here. Go and spend some time with your kid. Say a nice word to your wife. She looks so nice today. She worked so hard today. Say something nice to her. Now these thoughts, they get diluted in our mind. That you have these thoughts. They just get diluted with all the other negative thoughts. So the negative thoughts, which are 90% of the thoughts, you just think for 1 second, you know what, let me say something nice to my wife. And whoop, a thought comes. I have to be at the basketball game tonight because maybe my team is going to win. So this machshava zara, it takes away your thought right away. But if you practice this type of meditation, then you're quietening the mess in your mind, because our mind is a mess. I mean, the reality is I have to work because I have to pay my bills. And I have to worry about my kids and my wife and I have all day long a lot of things going on in my mind. Once in a blue moon, I'm lucky, I get a vacation. But if I take a time a day that I meditate and I quieten, then suddenly my thoughts, which is my neshama, starts talking to me. So the result is that my neshama is going to tell me, you're not doing well. Why are you going to the 9 o'clock minyan? Go to the 7 o'clock minyan. You'll do much better. Why are you doing this? Your neshama will talk to you. The problem is that right now, the voice of our neshama, if you compare it to the how do you call it here in America? The cabinet? All the senates are sitting together. How do you call it here?
Congress.
Congress? Okay. So Congress, there's how many senates? 50? I'll give you the examples from Israel. It's easier for me. You have the Knesset. You have 121 Knesset members. If one says yes and 120 says no, can you hear the one that says yes? No. There's a ratio in the voices. So if your neshama is very, very weak, it doesn't express its thoughts in its mind. So what the result will be? Total confusion. So you don't know, am I doing the right thing? Am I going on the right path? Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I date him? Should I date him? What should I do? And all day long you're in confusions. Because who's talking? All these foreign thoughts. This is called machshava zara. A foreign thought. It's not even mine. It's not even my thought. So I have many different ways. First of all, I have to empower my neshama. And my neshama needs Torah. And it needs tefillah, needs prayer, and it needs to keep the Torah. Because if I don't eat kosher, then my entire body is impure. My thoughts are impure. The kosher diet is not to make my life hard, that to skip a restaurant because it doesn't have a certification. The kosher diet is to make my entire system pure. That's it. You're not particular with kosher, your entire system is not pure. And I'm not saying in chas v'shalom in a negative way. Your thoughts will be impure. Your entire desire will desire things that are impure. Why? Because what I eat becomes part of my flesh. And if I eat something that is impure, then I will be impure. And I'm not saying I'm going to have leprosy. And I'm not saying chas v'shalom, I'm saying it in a negative way. It's almost like coming out to a doctor and the doctor gives you a diagnosis and you're not going to yell at the doctor, "Why are you telling me I'm sick?" I came to you to tell me that I'm sick. So You know, the ones who get screamed at are the rabbis, not the doctors. So if I eat unkosher, unkosher equals unpure or impure. So it means I'm putting this impurity in. So don't expect to have pure thoughts or impure desires. So the kosher is the basic. So everything the Torah tells me to do is to benefit me, not to annoy me. People say, oh, again, these rules, all these prehistoric rules. These prehistoric rules are the hints that Kadosh Baruch Hu says, listen to these rules, you'll be fine. I'm not coming to torture you. I'm not coming to segregate you or to make you annoyed. I'm coming to help you. Once I pass that point, I have to work on myself. If I'm able to do all this, you're not going to have doubts. You're going to wake up in the morning and says, this is the business deal I'm doing. But how am I going to get the money? I don't know how Hashem is going to make it happen. And now if you really focus yourself on Hashem and you're becoming annulled to Hashem, it says that Avraham, Yitzchak and Yaakov, they were the Merkava, Maaseh Merkava. What's a Merkava? Merkava is a chariot. Now, it's not exactly the right way to say a chariot. Rather, there's a horse and then there's a jockey. The horse does what the jockey says. The horse doesn't go wherever he wants. The jockey controls the horse. In our days, you have these big trucks, and in the truck is sitting like this little man. So this little man is controlling this massive truck. And wherever the jockey or the driver says, that's where the chariot goes. This is Maaseh Merkava. That Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov were so annulled to the Kadosh Baruch Hu that they would just, whatever the Kadosh Baruch Hu says, they would do, like a robot. Now we will never reach to that level, but at least I want to try to reach to a level that I'm at some level a little bit humble, and Hashem already operates through me. Now if I have an ego in the size of a semi-trailer, then I will always be confused, because my ego drives me to do what I think is the right thing. Instead of me saying I'm nothing, I'm a nobody. My opinion doesn't even count. And if I humble myself, and it doesn't mean that I have to make myself a shmate. That's not humbling myself. Moshe Rabbeinu was the most humble person in the world, and he was still a powerful king. So to humble myself is not to make myself like a, how do you say here in America, the guy who, a shmate. The guy who everybody tells him what to do, bossing him around. Humbling myself is accepting that there's something that is way higher than me, a much higher authority. Now when I humble myself, I can humble myself in front of God, which this is what I'm supposed to do. But if I humble myself in front of people, that's where the secret lies. And most people, their ego doesn't allow them to humble themselves in front of another person. Because I'm much smarter, I'm much better, I'm more better than you. When I humble myself and I see every human being not as equal to me, better than me, then I allow myself to be humble in front of the Kadosh Baruch Hu. And if I want to practice something, is to see the greatness in every human being. And the reality is that most of us do not do it and don't even have the ability to do it. He's a liar, he's a thief, she's ugly, he's this, it's Lashon Hara. All I do is I look at people and I see all the bad things in them. Which the reality is that if I'm able to see in you something wrong, it means that I have it 10 times stronger, and I'm recognizing it because it's reflecting on me, and I'm too embarrassed to say, I'm a liar, so you are a liar. But the reality is that if I recognize in you something bad, it means I have it. And I'm really not in the level of admitting that I have it, so I'm throwing it on you. The secret lies in that our sages say, "Ve'dan kol adam lekaf zchut." Every person that you look at him, judge him favorably. And I'll give you one example that is live. Today I'm sitting on the plane like this, I'm dead tired, I didn't sleep for like 3 months. Finally I get like 12 hours that I'm forced to sleep. I'm sleeping on the plane. Now how can you sleep when you're like this? An engine here, you can't really sleep. Finally I fall asleep. I'm starting to dream of a bed and a soft pillow and my legs straight, and my hand was like that. Somebody runs and pushes my hands and wakes me up. My split-second reaction is like, I finally fall asleep and this guy cannot move like that and he has to bump into my hand, and right away the Yetzer Hara comes with 3 bodies and they're ready. And you know what? Within a split second I was like, wait a minute. Our sages teach us, Dan kol adam lekaf zchut. Maybe he's sick and he ran to the bathroom. Chas v'shalom would have an accident on the chair. Maybe something's wrong. I don't know. And you know what? His little kid ran so fast that he ran after the little kid. Happens to be that he bumped into me. So I could right away say, look at this chutzpan bumping into me. How dare he bump into me? Or to say, misken, maybe something happened. And the reality was that his 2-year-old was running up and down. He ran after him. So in every situation, you can right away fill up into how dare he do it to me, or right away says, you know what, that person has a good reason right now. And you know what, if he bumped into me and I lost another minute of sleep, might means that the Kadosh Baruch Hu turned things around, that he bumped into me to wake me up, means that I'm not so 100% that I got the smack into my face. So the point is, that with everything else that I said, it all boils down to how much I'm willing to look at another person and make space to the other person. This is what it boils down to. Because we are now in exile, and a very unfortunate exile. And we are in this exile from one reason, and it's called Sinat Chinam. The second Beit HaMikdash was destroyed from Sinat Chinam. The first Beit HaMikdash was destroyed from idol worship, forbidden relations, and bloodshed. Since the sin was revealed, the length of the exile was revealed. They left Yerushalayim for 70 years. The prophet said, you're out for 70 years. 67 years later happened the story of the Purim. 3 years later, they're back in Israel. The second Beit HaMikdash was destroyed from Sinat Chinam, and up until today, we're in exile. Since the sin is not revealed, the length of the exile is not revealed. There's no other explanation why we're still in exile. We finished everything that we're supposed to do. But we still have this little Sinat Chinam in us. And Sinat Chinam is not that I hate you, is that I hate that you are better than me. That's the real Sinat Chinam. That why is he more successful? Why is his wife, he seems like a much better wife. Why he's making more money than me? I'm also good. And we all carry this little into somebody else that I can't stand. Somebody's in my space. And the whole point to go out of my galut, so to say, comes a story in Purim, and it teaches me a very powerful lesson. Because the story of Purim is the miracle of going out of a decree of annihilation into freedom, going back to Eretz Yisrael and building the Beit HaMikdash. So it's called Megillat Esther, not because the queen's name was Esther, her name was Hadassah. Rather, Esther is something that is concealed. And the Megillah comes to tells me, Legalot. The Megillah comes in the world, Legalot. Legalot, revealing something that is hidden. And in the Megillah, it tells me that I have to do 4 things. And these are the 4 mitzvot that I have to do in Purim. Mikra Megillah, we said, Mishloach Manot, Matanot Levyonim, Mishteh V'Simcha. These are 5 things that if I apply into my life, that's the secret of me going out of my galut. So the Mikra Megillah, it goes to learning Torah. Because we have to read the Megillah. That means I have to learn Torah every day. Pretty simple, not too much to think about. The second one is Matanot Levyonim. Pretty simple. Tzedakah. I have to do charity. I have to do acts of charity. No brainer. It doesn't matter if you put a coin in a box or you take somebody a ride. I have to do acts of charity. And acts of charity is not writing checks, babysitting my neighbor for 2 hours that she can have a peace of mind and daven from her. That's charity. Then I have another one, which is Mishloach Manot. Mishloach Manot is not about giving a piece of a bag with a few toffees in there. Mishloach Manot is I'm giving you something and you're giving me something. And the secret behind is, when I was a little kid, I don't know the custom here in America. In Israel, the custom in the school, that everybody comes with Mishloach Manot and you put it on the table and then there's a raffle and you just go and you pull one out. And I had the worst luck in history. I would bring the best Mishloach Manot and I would get like this little bag with 2 dry bambas. And I always be like, I'm giving like the best Mishloach Manot, I'm getting nothing here. So the whole concept of Mishloach Manot is that I give you something of mine and you give me something of yours. This is Ahavat Israel. This is unconditional love to somebody else that I don't know. And I'm giving the best out of myself and I might get something not that great back. And then we have Mishteh V'Simcha. Mishteh goes on Shabbat, because the Mishteh is the Seudah, is the meal. The entire mitzvah of Shabbat, the main mitzvah of Shabbat is the meals. We have 3 meals that we have to sit around the table. That's the main part of Shabbat. And of course Simcha. Simcha is that if I do anything in my Avodat Hashem without Simcha, then it's worthless. I'm going to be judged not because I did a sin. I'm going to be judged. Ekev asher lo ahavta et Hashemcha b'simcha v'tuv levav. That's what they're going to be, the judge, the dean of my behavior. They're not going to come and tell me, you didn't do this. They're going to tell me, you weren't happy when you did this. So if you have a $100,000 debt, at least put a smile on your face. Baruch Hashem. That it's not $200,000. Baruch Hashem. So we have 5 mitzvot that are the secret of getting me out of my own exile. So we said learning Torah, charity, acts of charity, ahavat chinam, ahavat Israel, Shabbos, and, are you paying attention? And Simcha. Okay? So I understand 3 of them very easy. Shabbat is very simple, cut and dry. I have to keep Shabbat. Learning Torah, very simple. Acts of charity, I understand. But you're telling me to tolerate another person, ahavat Israel, and then you're telling me to be happy? How are you expecting me to do that? How are you expecting me to love every other person when I can't stand half of the world, and you're asking me then to be smiling when I have problems? These are 2 mitzvot that I don't understand how you even come and tell me to do that. But that's where it all lies. That's where the success lies. That if I can tolerate another human being and make space for another human being, and doesn't matter where he came from, doesn't matter if he has a long beard, a short beard, no beard, a hat, a crooked hat, no hat, blue suit, black suit, doesn't matter he's from Iran, from Paris, from Poland, it's all nonsense. And that's where we're failing. Because we judge each other because from which group they come from, how they dress, how they pronounce the word. This guy says oi, this guy says oh. It's all nonsense. The Kadosh Baruch Hu is looking from above and saying, what's going on here? What's going on here? You don't like each other because they're not from your group? Because you think a little bit different? That's where we're mainly failing. This is called ahavat chinam or sinat chinam. That I can love another person unconditionally or judge another person because he's not equal to me. I'm much smarter. My rabbi is more smarter than his rabbi. So this is why we're in exile. Because I'm not able to give space to other people. And if I'm not able to give space to other people by loving unconditionally, I will never be happy. I will never be able to do anything b'simcha. Why? Because I don't have compassion to another person. And if I don't have compassion to another person, I will never serve Hashem b'simcha. I might pretend, but I can't fool the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Kadosh Baruch Hu knows what's inside me. And the real Avodat Hashem is simcha. So these are the 2 foundations of getting me out of my exile. Is ahavat Israel, or uprooting the sinat chinam, and ivdu Hashem b'simcha. And that will allow me to empower my neshama, that my neshama will talk to me and tell me, you're not on the right path. Don't do that. Don't put your time into that. Put your time into that. Don't pretend you're so religious now and sit in the kollel for 3 hours. Go and help your wife. So I cannot listen to my neshama if my neshama is a very single voice. If it's a very single and small voice in my mind, I will never hear my neshama. It will say something, right away it will be crushed by 50 other thoughts that says, no, we don't want you to do that. Go and work another 5 hours. And the neshama will tell you, you're wasting your time. Work 3 hours, you'll do the same job. Go home, learn Torah, help your wife, go and volunteer somewhere. Take your time and utilize it for the right thing. You don't need to work another 3 hours. You're not going to make $1 more. But you need to empower the neshama with more votes so we'll be able to hear it. Now all this is easier said than done. But the reality is that I want to get to this point, because if not, I'm driven by machshavot zarot. I'm controlled. I'm like the Israeli government. I have no opinion of myself. The world is running me. That's the kind of the equivalent thing. I have no say. I want to build a veranda in Yerushalayim. Oh, no, pitom 50 countries. You can't build a veranda. So they have no opinion, no backbone. So I have to build a very strong structure in me. And wherever I'm giving discounts, then I'm doing flat tires, so to say. I'm maybe using the wrong terminology. But if I'm giving too many discounts to myself, it's where I'm puncturing holes into my system and my entire structure is not strong. So it's a catch-22. In one way I'm hitting myself from here, but I'm not getting what I want from here. And the way to do it is if I focus myself and I purify myself and I elevate myself to a level, my neshama is dominating. The neshama will tell you exactly, this is not the path for you to go. So, just now, we talked about our ladies' center. We found this humongous building. I told my wife, that's the building. She was like, where are we going to get the money? I said, this is my problem. It's not my problem. Hashem wants me to get the building, he'll solve the problem. I'm not the how do you say, the gizbar, the treasurer? I need to come and do something here. That's what the Kadosh Baruch Hu wants. So the neshama tells you, you do it, don't worry, I'll solve the problems. You just do what you're supposed to do. And it can only work when you empower your neshama. If you empower your neshama and you feed your neshama will lead you and tell you this is not so good, this is good. That's why a lot of people have problems with shidduchim. Because they come to a date, he's cute, he's not cute, he's this, he's that, he said that. And why? It's too much confusion. And then the confusion causes the person not to see the reality. Then unfortunately people mess up their shidduch. They can chas v'shalom pass on the real zivug because there's too much nonsense. Why? Because there's no focusing on the emet and what the Kadosh Baruch Hu really, really wants. Here's the neshama will sit. The neshama will sit. That's why when I prepare a young couple, even an older couple, go to shidduch, don't sit in front of the mirror, put 2 hours of makeup. Learn to read Tehillim for 2 hours. Why? Because you're going to come to the put 5 minutes of makeup. You don't need to put makeup, but the preparation for the date has to be spiritual, not physical. Put on a nice dress, a little bit of makeup, make yourself look normal. That's it. But the spiritual preparation is much better because you'll be able to right away cut and dry say it's the one or it's not the one. And you cut to the chase. There's no, he's cute, but he's not, but he's his, but he's not. Why? You're able to cut straight right away. See the difference. So it can only come from the neshama. It cannot come from any other thing. People really, really neglect the neshama. And if you empower your neshama, you operate on a completely different level. Even health-wise, even in any way. The neshama doesn't need much. Just give it a lot of Torah, give it attention, give it the mitzvot that it needs to do. The neshama is operating on a different altitude. And then you're operating in a different altitude, so you lose all this insecurity. You know what you're doing. Okay, I'm doing the right thing. Kadosh Baruch Hu is already going to lead me. Hashem ro'i lo yachsar. If I make my Hashem my shepherd, I'm not going to lack anything. He's going to take me exactly where I need to go to, the good and the bad. And there's going to be a lot of bad. That's part of the fun. I mean, it has to be some action. Can't be nice, just good. So the point, again, you said we should do a whole shiur about it. I think we did categorize it as a shiur. The point is to give votes to your neshama. You give votes to your neshama pitom has the upper hand. And it starts controlling the show. Then you actually have confidence that I'm doing the right thing. Now, of course, the Yetzer Hara is always going to come in from the back, give you stabs in the back and tell you, no, you're doing a mistake. But if you are very well aware, you know how to recognize when it's the Yetzer Hara coming and poking you in the back, like this real estate agent that comes to break the deal. Then you know to recognize him and you throw him a little bone and then you move on. And sometimes you know how to recognize, no, that's my neshama. The problem is that we have a very big confusion in our head that I cannot differentiate between the real thought and the fake thought. And it all boils down to everything that I just told you now. And the more you purify yourself in many different ways, in my diets, in what I see, people say, oh no, this movie, it's a tznius movie. It doesn't matter, a movie's a movie. It's tznius or not. You know we just had not too long ago the Hilulah of the Baba Sali. The entire Buchatzera family, their entire shita was not to fail with their eyes. That's why there are generations of tzaddikim. You know, the Baba Sali, when he was a little kid, they used to take him out of the house. He had a cover on his head. He never saw anything around. He never saw the world. So what we allow our eyes to see, even though we deceive ourselves by saying, oh no, it's this, there's nothing wrong with being on Facebook for 3 hours. Not modest pictures there. Even women's not supposed to look at not modest things. The point is that when we damage our eyes, then that affects our entire purity. What we hear, even our music. Oh no, it's a regular song. Yeah, regular song, but it's not coming from a pace of kedusha. Then everything we hear, everything we see, everything we smell. We have 7 gates to our body. 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, and a mouth. The deadly one. Kadosh Baruch Hu decided that there's going to be 2 gates of each, and he says the mouth, if chas v'shalom I give them 2, better to give them just 1. But we have 7 gates in our body. If I guard my gates, I have no problems. If I guard my eyes, my ears, my nose, and my mouth, what goes in and what goes out, I'm not going to have any problems in my life. The problem is when I expose the neshama, like taking like an innocent child and putting him into the worst place in the world. He becomes shock. So what I see, what I hear, what I eat, what I smell, everything, if I guard it and I limit it, that's how I keep the purity in me. And a lot of people, they fool themselves and they say, no, I'm very good here, but here, this I can do, this I can do, this I can do. Anything that I put into my system, it will, at some point, if it's not pure, it will affect me. We made an experiment once in our high school. I used to teach in a few high schools of girls that they used to, religious girls, that they used to, Hashem Yerachem, leave the religion, go off the derech. And we made an experiment because I made a bet once with one of the girls and I said, when you listen to secular music, it also makes your mind impure, which will affect you. And they did not believe me. I said, let's make an experiment. And we took a group of girls, and for a whole month, they did not listen to secular music. They only listened to pure music. And the difference was so unbelievable in the girls that didn't listen to secular music and the girls who listened to the secular music. And I know it's a big temptation, and I know it sounds like, a big deal. It's only, I don't know even the names, Lady Gaga, Shma Gaga, whatever it is. It's only a song. Yeah, it's only a song, but where does the song come from? Where does it originate from? It originates from purity, from impurity, and in this experiment, it affected these teenagers. Their behavior, their thought, their pattern of thought. It's something so simple and mundane, but it affects my neshama, and my neshama is so pure that, for example, when we have kids, we don't put anything impure next to them. Even the teddy bears, they're pure animals. Even the clothes on them, today most of the clothes, they'll have like a lizard or a giraffe or whatever it is. A giraffe is kosher, but that's not the point. The point is that even the things that we put next to our kids, we don't put next to them a teddy bear. So we'll put a duck or a chicken or something that is kosher, that even a baby is so pure and so sensitive that nothing impure should be next to them. Every time we have a baby, my family, they're like, you're making my life so hard, I can't buy them even clothes, because all the clothes, they have a teddy bear, they have an alligator, they have a worm. I'm like, no, you have to take it off, just don't buy it. Why? Because it does affect the child. It also affects me. The more I make myself holy, the more I put into my system holiness, it seems like, it's not such a big deal. It is. It's the little things that affect the neshama and the purity of the neshama. And the more the neshama is pure, then its voice is much, much stronger. The more the neshama's voice is stronger, then it knows how to resist much, much stronger. That's what I want to reach. And again, a lot of people saying, you're fanatic, it's too much. You can call me fanatic. I am fanatic. But there's results. And when I want to get something, then I'm determined to get it. And if I have to segregate myself from something, then it's worth it. Because, a lot of people say, I don't want to do a certain act. And a lot of people come to me with questions about chinuch of their kids. And I tell them, don't do this and don't do that. Oh, no, it's too hard. So don't complain now that your child is chutzpan. Is that he's answering back to you. Or that he doesn't want to learn. Or that he doesn't get along with other kids. I'm telling you, do this and do this. No, it's too hard. So don't complain. It's very simple. You don't want to complain, to do what I told you. So a lot of the times, people, they just either too lazy or they don't see the connection. But the reality is that every little act that we do in our life affects us in such a way that we think that the big things are affecting us. It's the little things that affect us. You ever saw a bacteria? It's microscopic. And a bacteria affects me. I now just got some flu or something for 2 weeks. I was sick, could barely talk, could barely teach. If I would see the bacteria, probably this big, a microscopic bacteria that totally gets me off my balance. So it's the little things that affects me the most. So the point to take from that is I need to empower my neshama, that my neshama has the upper hand. And that's in control. And then it doesn't mean I'm going to be perfect. It doesn't mean I'm going to be a tzaddik. I'm still going to sin. I'm still going to have all sorts of problems. But at least my neshama has the upper hand. Needless to say, to the question is yes, that's what's going to lead me. The Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to lead me. I humble myself in the front of the Kadosh Baruch Hu, and Kadosh Baruch Hu takes me wherever I want. That's the short version of the long answer.